everybody. Welcome to the SyFy Sistas podcast. Today, we're talking about Picard. It's finally here. Episodes 1, 2, and 3. On the mic today, we got Subrina Wood. Say what's up, Subrina.
Hey, yo, what's up?
And Miss Fran T. Say what's up, Fran.
What's up, Fran?
Welcome to our show. We are going to get down and dirty with Picard. I'm super excited. Who else is excited?
Very excited. Very excited.
I am.
I've been waiting forever. I did not realize how I was really waiting for this show, like with bated breath. I didn't realize until I saw the show that I was missing this in my Star Trek life. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
We were missing Picard. We were missing JL, Jean-Luc Picard.
Yes. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about some general impressions, overall impressions. We're only dealing with episodes 1, 2, and 3 on this podcast. So we're going to start with Remembrance, and then episode 2 is Maps and Legends, and then episode 3 is The End is the Beginning. So right now, that's how we're going to carry this story arc. Just talk about the story arc in general. Who wants it? Subrina.
Yeah, we decided to do it like this because the show is so well written that they give you a clear setup, action, and then finale, because you have to remember that we have Akiva Goldsmith and Michael Chabon writing this show, and between the two of them, they've got an Oscar, a Hugo, a Nebula Award, and a Pulitzer Prize. So that's some serious writing. So we're going to do this deep dive, and my overall feeling about this is elegance. It was just an elegant setup. I was so deep into the writing that I know we hear all this stuff. I want some Star Trek, and I want some phasers, and I want some shooting. But this was so deep. I mean, you've got a septuagenarian Captain Picard. It's going to be cerebral. That was my take.
Fran, what about you?
Well, from the first opening scene, when the song came on, and I had to think back to, okay, who? And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Data sung that song in Nemesis at the wedding. And then it all came flooding back to me, and I'm like, oh, yes. Even though we had seen in the trailers that he was going to be in the series, when I heard that song, I was like, oh my gosh, I've missed this. And then, the Enterprise comes, I'm like, oh, the TNG original Enterprise. And then they go right into 10 Forward, sort of like a Alfred Hitchcock thing going into a scene. And I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was beautiful.
I thought it was beautiful too.
I'm so glad it's back.
Yeah, my bad. I thought it was beautiful too. I think the music was just stunning. It's just beautiful. I mean, it pulled at my heartstrings right from the very beginning. And that gorgeous golden tone, those warm tones that they used instead of, we're so used to those harsh lighting and more clinical looking lighting of
the bridge.
Yeah. And you had that warmth to it, and that just made it immediately more human and more real. I just loved it. I loved it. And can we talk about our girl, because those decisions come from our girl Hanley Culpepper.
Hello, sister woman.
Right, sister woman doing it. How big was it for you guys that there was a Black woman directing the first 3 episodes of this breakout series?
This was huge, mostly because we've had women direct Star Trek episodes, and we've had women of color direct. Miss Dawson has been a great director, and she's broken out into feature films now. But this is the first time we've had a Black woman do a pilot.
I'm sorry, you're talking about Roxanne Dawes,
Roxanne Dawes, yes, she's done a lot, but this is the first time we've had somebody do the pilot, and the pilot is key because it's going to set the tone for the series, and it's going to sell the advertising, baby. So to put that in the hands of the sister is a big deal, and she's going to do it for the first 3 episodes. And but you were talking about the lighting, the effect, and we're going to get into the 3 episodes, so I'll leave the lighting for when we get into the meat of this talk. But yeah, I was so psyched because she did such a great job on Discovery that I was happy that she got tagged to do Picard.
Mm-hmm. Your thoughts, Fran?
In my head, I thought they were going to give it to oh my gosh, I can't even. Oh, Frakes. I thought they were going to give it to Frakes, and they didn't. And when they announced her, I was like, oh my gosh, a sister is doing the first 3 episodes. She's setting the tone for the series. I was just, overwhelmed with what? Happiness, pride, all of the above.
Yeah.
And
Me too.
She did a fantastic job. She did. The pacing, the cinematography, the coloring, the mood, everything.
Mm-hmm. She's a veteran. She's a TV episodic director veteran. She's done other shows, and she's made feature films. Yeah, she's 49 years old, and she's been in Hollywood over 20 years. So, the sister finally got a shot. That's what happened here. It's like, all right, well, it's about time.
She did a great job.
Yep.
She did.
Brought it to the hoop. Brought it to the hoop.
That's right. She took it straight to the hoop. I was like, girl, she knocked it out the park, though, to mix more sports metaphors together. Yeah, but she really did a fantastic job, and her touch, it showed. There's a clear stamp, like her own language is. She's very well, when you could tell Jonathan Frakes' directing style now, right?
Sure.
We can see that. And this gave me a very clear indication of who Hanali Culpepper is as a director. These first 3 episodes, and that make me want to go back and look at some of her work that I haven't seen before.
90210.
So she has a lot of credits. She has, she has a lot of credits.
Yeah, I didn't know about that 90210 though.
That's gonna be the only way you get me to watch some 90210.
Oh, she did that. She did 90210.
She's put her dues in. Yeah.
Woo, girl.
Oh, okay.
It's not like
Speaking of the writing and everything, I thought it was amazing the way that they did they went into 10 Forward with him playing poker with Data. Okay.
Yeah.
And he only played, we didn't even see him play a whole game. He only went at the end, All Good Things. Right. He only did it once that we saw in TNG. And he, I think that's part the writing thing. I thought it was beautifully set up that he has survivor's guilt about Data, and I think he has some guilt about not joining them for the poker games before, because that was one of the last things he said at the end of All Good Things was, I should have did this before, and they told him that he was always welcome. So I thought that was a point, that the writers set up that was like, okay, we know what the Trekkies know what this is. And even new people will not get as deep as we do. We get it. But even new people say, okay, he's sitting in a ship playing poker with this, playing poker and everything. But we knew the significance of them starting this, the writers starting the show, him and 10 Forward, of all places, playing poker with Data. So I thought that was magnificent as far as the writing was concerned.
We're coming full circle.
I noticed that.
So so Fran, you basically have brought us up to like what I really wanted to start talking about next. In remembrance, what were some of your favorite things? I mean, I want to ask this of both of you, like 3 things that you would just call out that would just be like, wow, this is what I loved about this episode.
Well, I'll tell you the thing that I absolutely love about this, and I'm going back to the caliber of the writing of this series, are the titles. The titles are all so deep. And the thing about them all is that they all have like a duality, just like we're talking about twins. We're going to talk about twins. We're going to talk about different levels of things. Everything has a different level. And you can just sit there and say, you know, remembrance, and that's the name of the episode. But then when you talk about it, there's a minute where I love it when Soji talks about when her memory snaps in, and she says it was like a lightning strike. And there's a word that's called a Proustian memory. A Proustian memory is when you have a memory that comes to you like snap bang, and sensory comes in, everything just shocks you. And that's exactly what she had. And then Marcel Proust is the person that wrote Remembrance of, you know, he wrote the book. It was just like, there's too much stuff all tagged in here that these people are trying to make me understand. I'm just like, my head is spinning.
Layers.
The titles are deep. The titles are so deep. And then my other favorite thing was when Picard went off on the interviewer, because she was saying, oh, well, you wanted this to be like something great like the pyramids. And he said, no, if you know your history, it's like Dunkirk. I was like, snap, snap, let's give the girl a history lesson. And then he just went off on her. My favorite line, you are a stranger to history. You are a stranger to war. You wave your hand and it all goes away. But it's not so easy for those who have died, and it's not so easy for those who were left behind. I was like, tell him, John Luke.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, I was like, oh, this is going to be good.
And I noticed it's kind of my guilty pleasure favorite thing. The media hasn't changed in centuries. She ambushed him. After promising not to, she ambushed him with his separation from Starfleet. So you still got this sensational news, people, that hasn't changed in centuries. Isn't that something?
Yeah, she was laying for him. It was like a bear baiting. You know, she got the bear in his, you know, had him up against the wall and just went, rah, I had to just let the dogs out on him. I was like, I don't think you know who you're talking to, young lady.
And it was a sister that did.
Well, I'm going to get to that in the next topic. But,
Here we go.
What about you, Tamia?
So that was one of the things.
Yeah, well, one of my favorite, just from the opening, setting the tone was just the Bing Crosby's edition of Blue Skies. You know, I mean, I think between that and the theme music for the show, it just really, it brings me, it has a whole nother emotional impact that I'm not necessarily used to getting in my Star Trek. You know, from 21 Jump Street, it just let me know right away that this was going to be a different Star Trek show. This is a different type of show here, you know. But I loved that, and I almost cried when I saw Data. I had no idea I would be that emotional, you know, over Data, you know. And I was like, oh, he's Data, he's a little different, you know. That was and it really, my number one favorite, my very favorite call out for the first episode is the music. All the way around, it's the music. The music is a whole character unto itself. It has such an important place in telling the story. And it's just beautiful and evocative and powerful and quiet and all at the same time, you know, really gorgeous.
I think that opening sequence is one of the most beautiful that they've ever done. And I love the Discovery one. And it was one of those things that as the series went on, you realize how much was packed in the Discovery opening credits.
Yeah.
And then in this one, you know, we've watched the whole arc by now, when we're giving you our take on these 3 episodes. But if you remember, when it starts off, that piece of that fragment comes from the blue sky, and then it goes down into the vineyard, and then it goes down into the isolinear chips, then it goes to the cube, then it goes down to the neutron, then the helix, then it goes to I was like, God damn, these people are
And where
something
does
else.
it end up? And it ends
It
up.
goes into Romulus and it goes right into his cheek. And I swear to God, that's where the Borg put that thing in his face, where it goes in.
On the side of his face.
It goes in the side of his face. The Locutus had that thing on.
And I saw, okay, he's coming back together. That's the part.
Exactly.
These
it was like
pieces, they're coming back. Yeah.
And that music that Tamia is talking about, I mean, every time I see that beginning, it is like, these people are so freaking deep, I can't even take it. I can't take it.
As many times as I've looked at Picard, today I looked at it to refresh. I don't know why, but I looked at it refresh that was the only time that I skipped through the theme music. All the other times I let the theme music play because it'll say skip intro. Oh no, I'm listening to this whole thing. I'm looking at this. It's just Jeff Russo is just, he's such a genius. He's just a genius.
Totally. I mean, I am just loving that music in that. I love that opening. And you're right. It just, and then it's going to tell you exactly, it's giving you everything that's happened to Picard, to Romulus blowing up. And it's like, dude, you all are some serious people here.
Yeah, they're
not
serious.
playing.
And I tell you, my other favorite call out for episode 1 for Remembrance is number 1. Number 1 is a beautiful animal. Number 1 is a really gorgeous dog, man.
Little assassin.
He is. I wanted to see a lot more of number 1. You know?
Yes.
However, you all heard about number 1 when they did the after track, the ready room. Number 1 was a rescue and not an actor. And they really wanted to, Hanel said that on in the ready room. And they really wanted to use him more, but they couldn't because he wasn't an actor.
He just wasn't trained, right?
They couldn't corral him in. They couldn't get him, because if you look at it when she, because I've seen it so many times, I said stop saying that. But when she stands there, when she first appears at the vineyard, and he goes to her, you can see that she's feeding him stuff. Look at it. You can see that the reason he's coming up to her because she has dog treats in her hand. That's why she feeds him stuff.
I didn't notice that. I'm like, okay. I did not notice that. I'm gonna have to watch it again.
When you look at it again, when you look at it again, she's got dog treats in her hand.
Wow.
He's a magnificent beast.
This is one of my head scratchers, though. This is one of my head scratchers.
Well, I wasn't sure. Okay, let's get into the head scratchers. What are the things that made you go, or that you were like, wait a minute, what?
Well,
go ahead, Subrina.
Go ahead.
Well, because I wasn't sure because number 1 went right to her, I'll bet for the dog treat. But, I thought, oh, he's going to attack her, because he was like, oh, no, we got somebody strange at the chateau. This isn't happening. But he stopped and he smelled her and he just went, oh, you're cool. And then later on, he was right by her side when she was talking to Picard and they were sitting at the table and she was telling him about the necklace. Number 1 was sitting right at her feet. And then the third time when she was gone, Lara says, oh, she's gone, but the dog was in her bed. And I'm like, number 1 was just all about, Sochi.
He was.
I was like, why would the dog be that into her? I couldn't get why that was so, but, that was my one.
That was a head scratcher.
It wasn't a big thing, but I was like, the dog was trying to tell you something. Maybe she just still had the treats. Maybe she just had the treats still.
Check it out. It was obvious to me. I'm like, okay, she's feeding the dog treats. Okay, so my head scratching moment was Picard should have woke up on a bio bed after that explosion on the roof. He should have been in a bio bed, not laying on the sofa. I'm like, what? Why is he laying on the sofa? Why isn't he in somebody's sick bay or medical bay or whatever they call it now?
In stasis.
And he's in his, in stasis. Exactly. This guy's in his 90s. And the thing, when it exploded and he did a somersault.
He went flying.
On the sofa.
The
Well,
tough old bird.
no joke. I mean, I guess that's still that all those years of Starfleet training, and
He had the,
Yeah.
he had the Kirk
PT.
drop and roll down. He had the Kirk drop and roll down.
JL should have been in a hospital in stasis, like you said.
Okay, so my question, it's not really a head scratcher per se, but I couldn't remember Daj's boyfriend. What was his race? He's the same race as the security officer in Discovery, right?
He's Zahian.
Zahian, yeah.
No, he's no. He's the same race. He's from the planet
the
of
princess.
the
It's
queen.
the princess, right?
Mhm.
Right.
The queen.
Yes,
No,
the queen.
the queen.
The queen. Thank
the
you.
queen.
Yes, she's the queen.
Yeah.
The
What
queen
was
of
the,
Sahia.
okay. Right. Okay.
Oh,
Poe.
Yeah.
Yes. He's from
I
the
was
same
so-
planet as Poe.
So,
Yeah.
my head scratcher moment was really like more of a shaking my head moment. Just shaking my damn head. We need a shaking my damn head emoji. I really I've been trying to like, you see so many posts on Facebook and stuff, and you just like,
Yeah, I mean, that was a head.
I ain't got nothing to say for that one, but my shaking my head moment is like, why did the brother have to die just like that? I was like, yay, here's a brother. No, really? Come on, Star Trek. Did y'all really do that to me? For real?
And violently,
No, really?
like knife to the...
I mean, he was there for 2 seconds, and he was so likable, and he was so sweet. And I was like, oh, let's get to know him. And he was a different alien race. And I was like, sweet, we're going to get a new character. And then bam. Oh,
I mean, if you were gonna do the brother like that, why'd you bother doing all that prosthetics and everything? You could have just put some trill spots on him and called it a day.
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. There's some spots on his ass.
Yeah, you got all this stuff.
They spent a lot of money on him for him to be killed 2 seconds later.
Yeah, eyes are blinking, and he was all cute. He was so mad.
Yeah, all the
Those of us that are
and
from
they
the
look
OG.
so into each other. It looked genuine. It looked so they were so into each other, the body language and everything.
Right. They had great chemistry together.
Yes.
Wham.
Yes.
And those of us that come from the OG Star Trek, me, friend, we're from that original Star Trek. We remember when if you saw a black person on the screen, you were excited.
Yeah,
so especially in Star Trek, you were like, oh, we're going to see some black folks on the screen. This is great. And they would at least be in there until the episode was over. I mean,
yes.
But this brother didn't last 10 seconds. He didn't last 10 seconds. I said,
they went crazy.
Y'all are not right. The black people are looking, and that's not right.
That's another thing. Speaking of black people, Daystrom Institute.
Right.
The OG Trekkies know about Daystrom.
That's right.
That's right.
He was played by William Marshall.
And I confessed this to you all earlier on when we were not recording. We were just talking that I'm doing a rewatch of original Trek as an adult now. And I'm doing it along with those great podcasters from Mission Log. Okay. And but I had no idea until I was doing this rewatch that Michael Daystrom was a black man, was portrayed by a black man, that Dr. Daystrom is black. Because when I was a kid, and Trek was on and it was my babysitter, like I don't remember. Right, I don't remember. No, I mean, I was a teenager when Next Gen was on. Like I was born in '71.
Okay, when you were little.
When I was a kid, when I was a baby. Sorry, yeah, that's what I should say. When I was a little tyke. I didn't really pay attention to this stuff as much, I was playing and Trek was on in the background. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know all these years I'm hearing the Daystrom Institute, and the most prestigious place, like the most prestigious science place in all of Trekdom was named after a black man. What?
That's right.
And these white people drove him around the bend, but that's a whole nother story. But
right, they sure did. He got a little crazy.
They made the brother crazy, but okay.
He was portrayed by William Marshall.
He still had his engrams on that thing. It was still Dr. Daystrom.
AKA Blackula.
Blackula. Thank
Okay,
you.
so any other head scratchers that we need to get to for remembrance?
I
Because
want to continue with this the theme that we're on because I got two more. I was not pleased at all, and I don't know because Hannah L was at the helm. What's going on with this? Because they had the interviewer. She came out there all bitching out that she was a sister, bitched out Captain Picard, Admiral Picard retired. And then the brother who was at the welcoming desk at Starfleet Academy standing up there in the ensign uniform and going to ask Admiral Picard, who are you and can you spell your name? And that's the brother. I'm like, you know what? I'm about to come out of here and pop somebody in a minute because
right.
he knew who that man was. Why are you acting like all the black people don't know what's going on?
Right. So for, so far overall, episode 1, Remembrance, is not doing well to live up to SyFy Sistas test. The SyFy Sistas how are we for black folks test? No,
you're not winning the SyFy Sister Bendel test. No, you're not. None of the black people in this particular episode are doing anything that we are proud of.
Yeah, right. Oh God, I don't want to claim that one. I definitely did not want to claim that interviewer.
No, and I ain't claiming the brother over there at Starfleet.
I'm not claiming the brother who does not know who the hell Jean-Luc Picard is. Are you kidding me?
Did you see the interview?
No, I'm not that adamant about that because Picard has been gone because Picard has been gone, as he say, nursing his indifference for years and writing books that people don't, So this guy is young. It's not like, he's an ensign and everything, but he doesn't really know.
You don't know who the hell Locutus
for not knowing who Picard is.
359. You don't know the Albite of something. You don't know the Kadisha. You don't know.
But it doesn't. See, this is why it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me because they teach about Picard in the academy.
He's got a museum. He's in the museum.
He's in the museum. They know. Who Picard is.
Well, wait a minute. Maybe he wasn't paying attention.
He skipped that class.
Maybe he wasn't paying attention.
That's why he's on the welcome desk. That's why he's on the welcome desk.
That's why he said he's doing the duty because he wasn't paying attention. Right. He wasn't paying attention, okay?
We're like, okay, we're going to put you right up front, and everybody that comes in, try to remember, brother. But, no.
Because there was a hologram of the Enterprise up in the ceiling of this very building.
Okay, you know what? Here's my question on that. Did that change because Picard walked in?
I think it probably.
I thought that was a permanent installation.
I thought the hologram was switching as commanders walked in.
I think it was switching, but I think it was cycling through.
Oh,
I think it cycled through.
Okay, they were I was like, the building knows Picard's there.
I think that helps.
Look up!
Right? Exactly. I thought that helped add to the irony that this young cadet person did not know who he was. It's like he's literally standing in front of his ship right now, dude. Right. Just look up. And you should know and associate. Brother, come on.
Picard just looks at him like, child.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Okay.
But other than that, I love this episode. I loved it.
Yeah. I thought do you think that as far as opening episodes for a Star Trek series, how does this one rank? For me, I think it might be my favorite opening episode.
Okay, wait a minute. I want to go back one more. It's okay. Not to take over what you said, but I wasn't too crazy about the twin trope. I wasn't too crazy about that. The twin, her having a twin.
Okay.
The twin, the trope, how they do it, and they say, wait a minute, there's another one. Cause I'm sitting there going, this is a great episode and everything, but damn, they killed her off in the first episode. And then it's like, it's twin. I was kind of like, oh damn, okay, twins. So I wasn't too crazy about that.
Okay, twins. Yeah, that's you.
I'm glad.
That's the ticket.
And I'm glad they were twins so that the series could continue on. But it was like, you don't kill off your heroine in the first episode. And they didn't, so.
I would say, quite frankly, and this is going to be something that I know people are going to start screeching like I am taking nails down the chalkboard. But no, this isn't my favorite first episode, although I loved it. And I like the fact that it is telling us that this is going to be a different Star Trek, and I love that. I am not one of these people that, oh my God, I have to have the uniforms and the ship and the Klingons, and it's like, all right, look, we've done it for 50 years. Can we do something else? But just a second.
Yeah.
But I actually still tell you, my absolute favorite first episode, I think that absolutely set the tone and really got you going. It was Enterprise. It was Enterprise. I thought they did a really great job of introducing that ship, the captain, the animosity between T'Pol. I mean, they brought the Klingons in, craziness, the Suliban. I mean, you had the whole setup for the whole season right in that first episode. What was it, Crossbow? No, it wasn't Crossbow. But I thought that was the best one. All the other series, their pilot episodes are kind of disappointing. I mean, there's not really a one that was great. They may have had some great scenes, but all in all, you were sort of like, whatever. I mean, I did like Deep Space Nine is probably tied with Enterprise.
Well, see, I think, like, for me, like, Deep Space Nine is my true favorite.
Yeah.
But this one almost knocked it off.
Yeah, it's really a great episode. I mean, but it was hard to get used to the pacing because I felt like, what's going to happen? Let's go. But, I had to slow myself down from the regular Star Trek to appreciate it. I will say that. I will say that. So, but on the first watch, I was like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like I said, going into the layers and the different levels and the rewatching it, I've appreciated it more and more and more. Even that opening sequence, I didn't get it all the first time I saw it. You were just trying to get to like, what's going to happen? Like, come on, like skip the intro. Let's go to the show. Then you had to go back and you're appreciating all the stuff and the chateau and the lighting and the music and the dialogue. So it definitely is one of the best of the three best, I would say, of all the episodes. It's one of the three best.
Yeah,
Fran?
Deep Space Nine is my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my second favorite because when I go back and rewatch, I always start from the beginning. I always start from this episode. I don't skip any. Like there's another Discovery. I skip the first two.
I do too.
And I look at contexts for King. But with this one, I always go back to the first episode because I think it's just wonderful and marvelous. And he's in his 90s, so it's time for contemplation.
Yeah.
And not the phasers and the ships and all that stuff. This is a different Picard. This is what we can see is a somewhat retrospective Picard who's a bit flawed at this point. Yeah.
Excellent point. Well, I think we have talked remembrance to death now.
Okay.
So, all right. So let's move on to Maps and Legends, episode 2. And
Michael Chabon has a book written called Maps and Legends.
He does.
Has anybody read it?
No, I haven't.
I
haven't either.
I haven't.
No of it though.
I'm not putting you on the spot. I haven't read it either.
No, I haven't read it.
So we meet the twin in this episode, and we get some news. Picard gets some news from his doctor in this episode.
Yeah.
The story, and then the story is progressing. This is the middle part of the first series, the first opening arc.
The setup.
The setup. And so what are your thoughts about Maps and Legends? Fran, I'm going to start with you this time. Your favorites. Favorite.
I don't know about my
or
first
do you have
thing.
any call outs for this episode?
Yeah, I do. This in Measure of a Man, that was a TNG episode for people who in Data got his rights as being a sense, as being an android, as they call it at the time. One of the questions that was brought up, and it was brought up by Guinan, about the slavery part, about you're creating a whole race of people just to do what you need to do, for them to do what you need to do. So when they open up this episode, And it's like the guy comes, Mr. Pincus, and he says, "Good morning, plastic people." And I said, "But wait a minute, and they're there to work. That's what it looks like. They're only there for labor." And it brought me back to that episode. I'm like, so Data, what happened? How did they go so far off from when Data did the thing and got his rights? And here we all have these androids, these synthetics are just laborers. So that was my first take from it. What happened in all that time? Did they just forget about? You don't just use a whole group of beings for labor, which is essentially slavery.
Right.
So that was my first take on this episode. What happened? How did they get there?
That's interesting because I had another first take that was kind of similar to that when we went to the Reclamation Center, the Borg Artifact Research Institute, and you're realizing that they have all these Borgs and XBs, they're calling them now, and they're reclaiming them, and they're just like taking parts out and putting them in plastic bags. And what are you doing with these poor people? What are they going to do now? You've got here's another race of people that are now subject to you, that are a lower class of people that are finding prejudice. And I reacted to the XBs.
I think y'all just like nailed it, I mean, like that's the theme running through, we'll get to overarching themes at the end, but you just nailed it. I mean, I just thought, in episode 2, mine is not so deep. The first note that I wrote about episode 2 was, wait a minute, didn't Soji just meet ugly Romulan dude and she's already in bed with his ass?
And he's in bed with her ass.
I mean, like but they were like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" Wait, what?
Okay, instant chemistry.
Okay.
She'd be Kirk.
I'm just saying.
Okay, but wait a minute. Have you not ever? I have. Have you? I have met people that from the beginning I met them, I'm like, oh my gosh, what I could do with you.
Yeah.
I didn't act on it all the time.
I know it wasn't
but it happened.
I mean, I'm just saying.
So I think
we know it happened.
Instant chemistry. It was an instant chemistry thing with them. See, since you were born in the 70s and I was like, came of age in the 70s. You have no idea. The deepest question we asked was, what's your sign? That was the deepest question we asked. And next thing you know, so
I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, and not saying that it hasn't happened to me. I'm just saying, like,
it doesn't happen on Star Trek.
Right. I'm just saying, like, dude,
come on.
Like, did we not just meet this character?
No, that was a Kirk move, if ever. And if Kirk wouldn't even be talking about it.
But at least like there was a date, or like they would go walking around the planet or something together, or homegirl would show him the medical institution where they were, and like, look, here's all our secrets and everything. Like there was some type of, there was like at least a 5-minute courtship, And this was just like, oh, hey, what's up? What's up?
What's up?
It was good enough. And then there they were. Next thing you know, there they were.
That was a little fast.
With their, as you called it, Sabrina, with their dirty feet poking out of the sheets.
I wasn't even gonna go there, but
and their feet are dirty. I looked at it. Their feet are dirty. Their feet are dirty. Yeah.
That's got to be a black thing. We just are not having it.
I don't know.
The thing that got me to move along off that topic. but we all recoiled. The thing that got me was, again, my favorite thing about all these episodes, the title, Maps and Legends. It is one of his books, and it's also a song by REM. And one of the lyrics in the song is, maybe he's caught in the legend, maybe he's caught in the mood. There are maps and legends that have been misunderstood. And it's like, he just evokes this song of a man that's misunderstood, and he's got these maps and legends. And someone else was saying, like, the show is telling you, like, Picard, these are the maps and legends of Picard, all the things that, you know, make him up and tell you which way he's going. It was just like, again, it's just deep. I just love waiting for the title to see what is Michael trying to tell me about this one.
I didn't think the Romulan was ugly. I actually thought that he was really, really sexy. I did. I thought
Did you really?
30 feet tall. I did. I thought he had these gorgeous eyes. I did. And, you know, I like that accent. And I thought he was you. I thought he was sexy.
Really? An accent? You liked his accent, so his accent can get anywhere, huh?
Well, hey,
Yeah, you know how Americans are. Anything that's not American, we're gonna go for. Oh, he's got an accent.
I'll right there with you, Fran. It'll get you a point in my book.
So, you know, whisper in my ear. You
Say
know,
that again,
come
baby.
on,
Say
in
that
accent. Whisper in my ear in that accent. And
Although you know what they say, they say the sexiest accent to Boston accents. I just want to let you know that.
I'm talking. Go.
Who says that?
People from Boston.
No, exactly. Nobody else says that.
Nobody else says anything about. We can barely understand you guys.
Else says that.
Especially the people from the South, we can barely understand what the heck you're saying.
I'm gonna Google that. What show was I watching? And they kept saying they're gonna go to the Google. I'm gonna go to the Google on that. I'm gonna find Boston. But
you know, I like the hair, I like the ears, and his eyes. I thought were gorgeous.
Well, then you know what? You need to go look at the episode of The Crown where he plays Princess Margaret's little boy toy.
Yep.
He's a little bit cuter there.
He's a lot cuter there.
Yeah.
Well, a little bit. Okay, I'm going to say a little bit cuter.
Check him out there, because I paused for a second because then
he's still got them.
Okay.
He's still got those Prince Charles ears that are like going to fly him away like Dumbo. Like
I had a crush on Prince Charles.
Okay.
I had a crush on Prince Charles when I was little.
Get out!
Okay. See, now we're getting into. Okay, that's TMI. All right. So, other call outs from this episode. My favorite was the F-bomb. Nobody said the F-bomb that was dropped in here, just so casually by the Admiral. But it was so effective. I thought it was so well done. You know,
it was.
And her calling out. Her calling out Jean-Luc, like the way that she did. You know, he deserved it. I mean, he waltzed in there. He waltzed into her office. Shorty's been retired for how long?
Privilege. White privilege, patriarchy.
No joke. Patriarchy like a mug.
Like a mug.
Like a mug. You know, he walked in there like, yo, girl, I know I've been gone for a long time, and I know I'm the one that's left, but I'm going to need you to roll me out a ship and a crew.
Hey.
And she was like,
Dude,
this is Thelma. She was like Thelma and Louise over in this bitch. Nah, shorty, you ain't getting it. What sheer fucking hubris. Ooh.
Exactly.
It was.
Did y'all see his face?
Beautiful.
His face. Yeah. His face. His eyes. Is like.
Yep. He was Karen looking for a manager.
Can act his ass off. He can act his ass off.
Yeah, he can. I mean, it was like, it hurt me.
Okay.
It hurt me, his face. His face hurt me. I was like, oh, poor baby.
I know.
Somebody had to read
The ensign downstairs just didn't know who you was. And now she gonna tell you the shit. You got some damn nerve. What balls you have to come up here and even suggest? You know, and then when he got, you know, when he was condescending, talking about, oh, I'll be willing to go down to a captain.
Oh, that was the best.
Oh my God.
That was the
her
best.
face was like, what is it?
We hadn't seen that look on Picard since the last time he talked to Cisco. And Cisco had to read them. It's like, oh, no, bro. Let me tell you what's going on here. I'm about to give you my resignation. You can take the damn station. Bye-bye. And Picard gets that same look on his face. But I love my Jean-Luc. I named my cat Jean-Luc. But he had to be told something. There was like some patriarchal, absolute white privilege. I'm the baddest thing in here. Yeah. I was like, wow, look at this shit.
And when he was going down the steps, and they said, they did the voiceover. She said, "Request denied," and I was like, "Bitch."
Clancy was just waiting on it too. She's like, let him get it all out of his system.
I think our PG rating for this episode just went right out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well,
playing
all adults here.
Because we're the SyFy sisters. Just get ready.
Yeah.
Well, that takes care of episode 2.
Well, almost.
But you know what?
Wait.
Oh.
Almost.
Okay, hold on.
But that's my last call out for the things that I loved about this episode, or that I really liked. But it was just is a weird one, and it's the guy who played the doctor.
Yes,
Dr. Benyun.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can't know. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right. And he's an actor named David Paymer, and
I love him.
And I love him too. I mean, he's been in so many different things. Namely, what I remember him for first was from City Slickers, and
he was in there. Yes.
Yes. I mean, he's just so talented.
The American president.
Yes.
Yeah, he really is talented.
And so it was really cool to see him show up in Starfleet.
It was.
From the Stargazer. I love that. He was the doctor on the Stargazer. I'm like, yes.
Way back. Yeah. Okay, one more
you
thing.
ask Beverly.
The inside joke of when she was reading Asimov. Was it Asimov she was reading?
Asimov.
Isaac Asimov.
Thank you. And John and JL said he didn't care much for science fiction. He said he just didn't get it.
Never got it.
I said, okay, y'all got jokks, okay?
Yeah, I know.
I thought it was cute. I really thought, just like in the first episode when he asked for his Earl Grey decaf, So, and this inside joke was cute too. So I like that. So that I like the little humorous parts that they put in these episodes.
Yeah. Okay, so what about the head scratchers then? I have a head scratcher.
I'm sticking with mine from the first one. It just continues, but go ahead.
Okay. I have a head scratcher that made me go, So apparently you can use a Starfleet communicator on your chest to call random folks who aren't even in Starfleet, and you've been retired for 20-something years, even though you retain, and your Starfleet communicator still works. And
And was she on the same planet?
Right.
Well,
like,
yeah,
what?
she was. She was in
I was like, what?
She was on the same planet, but still, like, she's not even in. She got fired.
Right.
She's not even in Starfleet anymore.
But she still has communication.
Yeah, she had all that illegal stuff. She had all that. He knew.
Oh, yeah.
Right, but I'm saying, like, you can use a Starfleet communicator. He could just break that puppy out,
I know, yeah.
and be like, Rafi.
Exactly.
Don't hang up on me.
I was looking around like, who's he going to talk to? Who's he talking to? Somebody in the chateau? Wait. That was a head scratcher for real. Like, okay,
like
boys.
Okay, but you know what? Rafi was more, from what I saw, Rafi was more interested in the 86 than she was in what he was actually saying. He was like, is that the 86?
But that's next episode.
That's next episode.
Is
Yeah.
that the next episode?
Right.
Yes,
Yeah. No, he hasn't seen her yet. No, he just called her. He just called her at the end of Maps and Legend.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen her yet.
No.
That's how it ends.
Okay. Are y'all sure?
Her.
Because
yes.
No. The way I remember, it was right at the end of the episode when he went to her. And then at the beginning of the other episode, that's when
Oh,
they
and he
sat
says
down
that's
and
it.
talked.
Oh, you might be
Oh,
right.
yeah.
You might be right.
Okay.
I've
Might be
seen
right.
this a lot, y'all.
We need Fran to bring us
okay.
back.
My bad. Don't
I've seen
spank
it a
me.
lot. No.
All right, I still
No,
got
she
some.
said-
I got some more head scratches for this one too, because they just keep on with the black people in this, and I'm here
Oh gosh.
all about what all this shiggity. What are you doing? So I had a problem with the black Romulan when they go. Is this? Yeah. They go into. They're gonna talk to the people in the thing. That's this episode. Yeah, and he's just all in Hugh's face. And then when they get in there, he bumbles when they get in there. I'm like, okay, what? Really? Seriously? It's going to be the black Romulan? Even this guy can't hold on to his pistol? And then the other
Get
one
his
was,
ass out of here.
for real. And then the other one was like, here we have this distinguished scientist from Trill who is all that in a bag of chips. She can't even zip up her dog overall. She's got to have Soji come over here and help her dress. I was like, stop it. Stop.
She was cute. She was so cute.
I saw that too. I saw that too. But
Wasn't she cute?
I was just like, stop. Just stop with this stuff here. And so she's talking to her like she's 5 years old. Oh, let me help you. I know you're nervous. You're like, bitch, get back.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to wreck my nails. That's all. But and then the last thing is that, we finally have the black character that is, yes, you're right, Fran, she is in this episode, coming in and she's broke down and addicted. I'm like, oh, my head exploded. I was like, okay, I know she's going to come through, but I'm really going to have to talk to somebody about how they're treating black people in this show so far because I'm really getting upset.
Mm-hmm.
She may be broke down and addicted, but every time she in the room, she the smartest one in the room.
She is.
That's right.
The only reason why I'm going to let it go.
The smartest one in the room.
But I don't know why Rios couldn't be the one that was broke down and drunk. But
well, he is drunk half the time.
I know she is. Yeah,
no,
but I was just saying.
Rios was drunk it was a lot.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, but that's the other thing too. They all have.
Okay, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's but. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna let this black thing go. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna let it go.
No. This is what no, I'm not. Isn't that what we're here to do?
Really, I'm here to appreciate the black people that are in it and praise.
Yes.
But, if you're gonna continue to do these little microaggressions on my black soul while I'm watching Star Trek, I'm gonna have to call you out.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're here for. Fran, do you have any more head scratchers for this episode?
Not really. I just, like I just said, she was more interested in that 86 wine than she was in what he was actually saying.
Mm-hmm.
Then and he turned around. She said, "Okay, come on, all right, come on."
When we have we met Commodore O yet too? Yeah, didn't we meet O?
We caught she left those two left such a bad taste in my mouth. I thought
we only briefly met Commodore O. I think we see Commodore O more in the next episode.
Yeah.
Okay, where she's talking to Narissa.
Right. So let's go ahead to the next episode. The end is the beginning.
Yes.
The end is the beginning. The end is the beginning.
Yes.
And it is.
Subrina, hit it. Favorite things.
Favorite thing again is the title. It's just they're too deep. They're too freaking deep. This is a quote from Winston Churchill, who he had mentioned this week, but this is something that he said at the end of. He was saying that it was after the Battle of Alamein, and it was like it was the first time the British had finally won a battle. They had been taking it, and they finally won. And he said, "But this is the end of the beginning. But they were going to have to fight this war." And for Picard, they've had the Utopia Planitia. He just got cussed out. Rafi's mad at him. All this stuff is going on. The interview went bad. Everything. So he's had failure. But this is the end of the beginning, and he is now gonna get on this ship, and he's gonna go. It's gonna happen. And it was like really, I love the title, and then I loved what was happening because there will be no more failures from here. It will be nothing but victories.
Wow.
But he had to go back. It is. Did you see? But he had to go back to Raffi, and she is mad at him, pissed,
Yes.
and rightfully so, because he abandoned her. That wasn't the only abandonment he did, but I'm getting ahead of myself. But he abandoned her, and she lost her security thing. She got fired out of Starfleet. All this stuff. And come to find out, he didn't check up on her not once.
That was cold-blooded.
But who's the first person he calls when he needs something? Is Raffi.
He's going to have to learn this lesson all the way through.
Yeah.
So,
who again proves that she is the smartest person in the room, even broken and addicted. She's still, as when I saw Michelle Hurd on the Reddit room, she explained, she talked about that. She said, we got these people in our lives who are addicted and all. She said, but they're still good for something. They are still good for something.
This isn't going to happen if you don't have her.
Okay.
So that you just said that Michelle Hurd is my call out, my number one call out for this episode.
Oh, yeah.
She's a beast. Michelle Hurd is an absolute beast of an actor. And
she is.
What she does, how much pain she conveys, and pride and anger and resentment, all these really complex layers, like cords of emotions that are ripping her apart.
I love her scenes with Patrick Stewart.
They're phenomenal, are they not? I mean, just between the two of them is just like they're so good together. They're so good opposite one another.
When she was sitting there and they did the flashback and he was coming out of just, giving his resignation, and the way she looks at him like a little puppy. Yeah, but you said this, right? And we're going to do it, and you're going to find a way, because that's what you do, JL, right? That's what you do. The look on her face was just like, okay, baby, how are we going to work this out without them? Yeah, no soft fleet. We can do it. We can do it. What you got, JL? It was beautiful, the look on her face. And then just the crush when he said, they took my resignation. I was almost in tears for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she was ready. She was ready.
Anywhere he was going. Anyway,
and again, like what we're seeing is again that white privilege, that male privilege. That he didn't even think about how his resignation would affect her. She's been his
the ripple effect.
The ripple effect, or anybody else. He's just so self-centered about
it. He didn't think they'd take it.
Right. He was so egotistical and prideful that he couldn't imagine that they would take the great Jean-Luc Picard's resignation.
Caught him sideways. Like, what?
Yeah.
He was Scooby-Doo. Woof.
Yeah. So Michelle Hurd, all three. Michelle Hurd.
Yeah.
All day long. But I did have I did have some other less deep call outs, like some more fun call outs. First of all, Vasquez rocks. Hello, Star Trek is back. Vasquez rocks. Like you see that candy, you see those rocks, you're like, yay!
Yes.
It's like,
I was looking for the Gorn. I was looking for the Gorn. I was like, oh my God, he's gonna come out from behind that thing. I was like, look out, Raffi!
It was like coming home, wasn't it?
It was. The taxi landed. I was like, oh, they're not doing this to me. Yes, they are.
And you know what else I loved outside of Vasquez Rocks? I loved when the Romulan assassins come into Chateau Picard, and they were just like, that fight scene was just, I loved that fight scene. It was great. It was so,
it was awesome.
I couldn't stop watching it. It was really well choreographed. And my favorite thing about it was that they were just pulling weapons from everywhere. Like Chateau Picard looks all genteel and country and comfortable. They were just like, bam, here's a phaser for you. Bam, here's a double barrel.
Nice.
Under the coffee table, under the desk, everywhere. Loris and Subrina got busy. I like Loris is my girl. She was just gonna take him out. That
she said,
yes.
She said, let's take him.
Yeah.
All right.
I was like, okay, girl, I'm with you.
And that's what they did.
They had
They
like
took
8
'em.
disruptor rifles all lined up under the windowsill. They had all these. I was
Like,
these
damn.
bodies over here.
How about the thing in the holster under the desk? The thing in the
Yes.
holster under the desk. I'm like, okay, they got it all over the place. Good.
I loved it. They were just like, 1 minute they were talking about Mrs. Somebody's, terrine, and everything blew up.
Next thing you know, they was kicking ass.
Oh, the grapes are gonna
Okay,
have to be harvested.
I got a little funny thing. The difference in between, I think, how we see something and how some other people can see something. When he went on the ship, when Picard went on the ship, and the guy said, Rio said, yeah, Raffi warned me you were a speech maker. A black captain would have said, yeah, Raffi told me you talked your ass off.
We were waiting for the Cisco comeback.
Yeah.
Raffi told me you talked your ass off, which he can't, which he does at times. You think the guy's gonna go into a soliloquy, where he talks his ass off.
Go all 60.
So he nailed him on it. She nailed him, and he nailed him on that too. So I like that. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. How handsome and sexy Rios is.
Okay. Okay. All right, I'm wanting to
let's
know.
Let's get to the important stuff. Exactly.
Yeah, let's get to the real Star Trek essence of Star Trek.
Right.
I'm going to put him up with which captain of a ship takes his shirt off the most. Rios came into the show with his shirt off, so I'm like, all right.
He did. I forgot about that part. He did.
He's rivaling Archer
with
and Kirk.
Sticking out of. Oh my gosh.
First we meet him.
Oh my gosh.
He's
no
naked.
shirt.
Yep.
Yes.
He's
naked
reading a
from
book.
the waist up.
Yeah, but he's taken to. And how did he get that? Here's my head scratcher. How did he get that shrapnel in his shoulder? What the hell happened?
Well, I love how they left it completely unexplained. I love how they left it like
he
they
didn't die.
Right, exactly. He told you I didn't die.
Explosion of some sort somewhere. Just shrapnel sticking out of his shoulder.
Some type of fight, some kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah. That the emergency EMH.
He had no business doing.
Right.
Probably.
I love the EMHs. The holograms were my favorite things in that whole thing. They cracked me up. I was like, how many of them are there? I mean, he was just like, oh, he's not going to get any better. This isn't going to get any better.
This is it.
As good as he gets. But, I have one other thing because, of course, like I said, you got Oscar-winning screenwriters. Akiva Goldsmith won an Oscar for the screenplay A Beautiful Mind. He wrote that.
Did he?
Yes. And so he's reading that book, Tragic Sense of Tragic Sense of Life. And so I had to go to the Google. What movie was it? I was watching some movie and they kept saying that and it was cracking me up.
Go to the Google.
Yeah, go to the Google. And look it up. And it's a true book. It was written back in 1912. And it is a book that talks about rejecting reason for a life of intense passion, faith, and love. And it actually establishes Don Quixote as one of the great figures or role models. So I'm like, okay, they're going to Don Quixote here when they pick up that book. And here we have Picard, old, going after the windmill, going to
tilting at windmills.
Tilting that windmill. And here he has his, his sidekick here, Raffi, and he has his rundown horse, La Sirena. I'm like, oh my God, they have the whole Quixote going. They have the whole Don Quixote going. I was like, this is too freaking much.
Yeah.
Tragic sense of life.
They knocked it out of the park.
My last favorite call out from this episode was the one we were all waiting for. When he said, engage.
Girl.
And then they had the music call back to the TNG and the original. I mean, oh my God, I about lost it when I heard it. I was like,
the freaking end of the beginning. We're like, let's get
busy. Did y'all see the look on? Okay, so Agnes is grinning and shit. She's grinning and like, ooh. Did you see the look on Rappy's face looking at her saying, what the hell is she doing here? Just why?
She just went pure sister
And that was
on her,
that was when he said engage.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best engage ever. We've been waiting 20 years for that one.
Yes.
Engage. I was like,
oh
yes,
my goodness.
yes. But I have to think about
at one point, when he went first to see him, and he told him have a seat, and he walked past the captain's chair. That was touching. I said, oh, okay, they had to put that little touch in there.
Mm-hmm.
He's no longer the captain.
Did you hear them in the after track there where they were talking about that when they were on the set? They would kind of race each other to the captains. Patrick Stewart.
Yes.
Cabrera.
Yes.
Like you just like run to the seats, get in there first.
I saw that.
That tickled me. But the best line was when Alison Pill playing Agnes is listening to Ralphie just go off. I'm not going down another rabbit hole with you, JL, blah, blah, blah. She was just like, who are you, lady?
Yeah. And she looked at her like, and who is this bitch?
You baby girl, please. Yeah. Not even a security check, John Luke, really?
Come on now.
Right.
And smartest person in the room.
She should have done a security check on her.
Yep. Right.
Again.
But you wouldn't have found, even if they had, they wouldn't
room.
have found anything, right? I mean, they wouldn't have found anything. Well, okay, I'm not going to project.
Yeah. So we had any head scratchers? Oh, wait, before we get to the head scratchers, one last call out that I forgot over the past 2 episodes. Hugh,
That's right.
Oh, Hugh.
I mean, how wonderful did it feel to see Hugh? I had no idea that they were going to have Hugh. And I mean, that was just so heartwarming. I was like, that's great. I can get to see Hugh again and like find out what happened to his character. I mean,
that was great.
Yeah.
They were taking care of all the fandom. They really were. Even though we're going to take you on a new kind of Star Trek and just bear with us, but we're going to take care of y'all.
Yes.
Yeah, but they took
it time.
Yeah, they took care of it in such tasteful ways, and
Yes,
yeah, they really handled it really well.
Right from Blue Skies.
Right.
Yes.
So, did you guys have any head scratchers for this episode? I didn't.
No.
I have nothing but positive notes on this episode.
The only head scratcher was they left it on. They didn't answer it like y'all said. How did this guy get this thing in his shoulder? But that was it. But I was too busy looking at because he was half naked. That that was my only head scratcher for that.
Well, my only head scratcher on this one was what I didn't know why they bothered to put that dynamic between Narek and Narissa. It was just creepy, that brother sister kind of twisted thing. I was like, do we really need that part? I mean, it's bad enough that she's just an evil person and she just wants to break everything. But
I saw
she was smelling him, and I mean, it was like, stop, sis.
Well, it was this interview I read with Chabon said that there was the background thing was that she was abusive to him. She abused him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because if you notice, he was always like kind of smacking her away.
Yeah,
and the first time she came into his and the first time she came into his room, he said, "You didn't knock." She said, "Why start now?" Mm-hmm. So that tells you something right there.
Oh yeah, they had a twisted little relationship. It was bad.
Yeah, but I think he was the victim in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really think he was the victim.
He's the little brother. Yeah.
We could spend quite a lot of time dissecting the dynamics between those two. That's some other deep stuff that the writers have layered into this story. It's not. It's a very rich story on every level. There, just like when we started with DS9, when the minor characters started to get these very rich backgrounds and histories, and I see a lot of the same thing happening, the same care with the product happening here.
Character development.
Yeah.
And even it was nice to see, even though, they come up with this whole other secret society on Romulus, I'm like, what? Okay, fine, keep going. But they you have to tell Shiel, why do you need some other? Okay, fine. But I love all the little things they talked about, going through the back door, like they don't have any front door. They just gave us all these other little nuggets
Just
that
all
were just really great to show you that Romulans are just crazy asses.
Yeah.
I know it was something else. Do y'all remember when Soji was standing there and she was saying all this stuff, and you looked at him, kind of a know-it-all, aren't you? Did y'all remember hearing that?
Yeah.
When she was in there.
Man, Soji got so many flags, so many red flags went up. You were just like, baby girl, what is wrong with you? The man is telling you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You better keep a secret. I'm not telling you my name. I don't have to tell you nothing. Blah, 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 blah. I might have to kill you. Hello.
Well, I think that, that kind of leads me to the next question that we have, like for me, which is, what resonated with us in the show, like personally. And I think one of the things about Soji at this point that resonates with me so perfectly, one of the reasons why it's so uncomfortable for me to watch her get manipulated like this is because I've been that girl.
Mm-hmm.
I've been that girl. I've been manipulated so many times, so easily, and thought that it was love, and they just wanted to take other stuff from me. Just take it. Yeah. I see you, Fran. Just take and take and take, And so it makes it really difficult to sit and watch her relationship with Narek quite often.
It was very,
and also the relationship between Narek and his sister. That's difficult to watch, too. So, but that is the question that I'm putting out there is what relates to you, what really resonated with you personally, from these episodes.
I wasn't raising my hand to talk. I was agreeing with
you were
what
just
you were
agreeing. You were just
taking, people
take. Right, exactly.
And using and manipulating and all, all that. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, because like you, I've been in that position more than once. So, it's like, oh gosh, because he basically was telling her the truth about himself.
That's right.
He didn't listen.
He was waving the red flags in front of her. She's not picking it up.
At all.
I've had dudes that have told me the truth about themselves from 21 Jump Street, but I was so insecure with myself at that time and so needy of attention and affection that I took that, I would take that.
And you can say the same of Soji.
Yeah.
And that was something so brand new for her, because I don't know what kind of stuff he put in her as far as like loving memories and stuff. But she did, but she did say, which is something else, what her default was as far as being trustworthy, being trustful. She trusts people. Trusting people was, she said it, I'm sorry.
Her default.
She said it in a future thing, but she did say trusting was her default. So maybe he put too much trust in her.
She sure did.
I don't know.
Well, the thing that resonated with me was that every single one of these people that get on the La Sirena at the end here were all people that had been hurt very badly and had retreated. Even Agnes, she was holed up in that empty department after they had ransacked it and took everything away from her, and Bruce was gone. She was just sitting there. She was still there. She was still sitting there. Like, what are you still sitting there for? Because there ain't nothing happening. And Picard was at the chateau, and Rios was on his ship, still mourning his captain. And so was Raffi sitting in her hovel, as she called it. And it's really something like, when you have a big emotional I've been divorced. I've had, you've had something end, and you just kind of retreat. It's just like you say, you just kind of, okay, I'm just going to take it back a step. Let me just sit here and with my bottle of champagne, and y'all go ahead. And I'm going to come out the other side in a minute. But give me a year or two. And they were sort of like, okay, yeah, you know what? I got to take a break. Some wild stuff just happened and I can't deal. All of them were in the exact same emotional part where now the quest comes. Now they have this greater thing, and they're going to shake it off. They're going to Taylor Swift it. and they're gonna get on that ship and they're gonna go find it. They're gonna go find the other twin. They don't even know why. I love that about the whole story too. It's a mystery. It's like you don't know what the quest is even. It's like a MacGuffin, like you were saying earlier in a Hitchcock movie. You don't know what it is. You don't know why you gotta find the twin. Why are we going? Why are we going? We gotta find the twin. We gotta find the twin. We gotta find the twin. Like why? So you're just gonna go with the ride. We're gonna go down the rabbit hole with them.
Yeah. And it was a rabbit hole.
Yep.
So and that brings me to another question. Well, Fran, did you have a thing that resonated with you personally? Like anything that stood out for you?
Probably. I like Raffi's attitude because I really relate to her character. And who she, because among the people that I know, and not just among the people, but I've been, I'm intelligent, right? But I've been a wreck. It's like a wreck of intelligence, in my life, even though some parts of my life was unmanageable, but other parts were very manageable. And and those parts have always come through. That's what I like about her. Even though she is the addict and the broken and all that, she's still the smartest person in the room.
She is.
She figures this stuff out. And she was right. She figures, she sees stuff. And that's why he told her he wanted her to come. He said, because you can see things that other people can't see.
Your brain works in a way that,
Yeah, he told her that. That's why he really wanted her to come along. And of course, she was distrusting, but I just really relate to her character and the way that Herb plays her. I love it.
And even though this was one of my head scratchers, because I was like, why does he have to be the Black woman? But this is a very important character. I think, besides whatever, what I was saying, it was just like 1, 2, 3, 4, like, oh, okay, whatever. But the fact that they have this type of character in this show, and then she is integral to what's going on, but she's fighting all these demons. Like they all have their own little demons that they have, but this is a demon that you rarely, if ever, have seen in Star Trek.
Right.
You had Barclay. Continuous basis, because they've had like episodes where people were addicted and stuff, but it was just one episode.
They get cured of it. They get cured of it at the end too.
Yeah.
Like Barclay was the one that he just had that social problem. That was the only other character I can think of where he was forever having to overcome something to be he was the smartest one in the room, but he had to overcome all the time this social ineptness that he had, and it never left him. It never left him. He was always fighting it. But he was always the smartest one in the room, like Raffi.
And I never liked his character, though. I never liked him.
Oh, Barclay. I love Barclay.
I didn't like Barclay.
Barclay always having some issue.
But there also, like when it came to addiction in Star Trek, they really didn't treat it at all. You know what I'm saying? They didn't talk about it. It was just like, oh, this person is addicted to this, or like the society has made them addicted to whatever, so that they can be the fighting force or whatever, and it's like, okay, well, we're going to fix you when it's done. Like it was just, that was as close as they came to ever talk. And you never, what's so important to me about Raffi's character is you never see vulnerability and frailness and real humanity in Starfleet crews. They're all supposed to be like, they emotionally and physically just bounce back from everything, and we're healed, we're okay. Deep Space Nine was the only show that really show characters going through something for a while, taking it for a while to get them, so you
and not right after that, and not right after it happened.
Right, and altered,
Yes.
So like the majority of Star Trek were left with this false idea of perfection of humanity in ways, which is really hard to live up to because we're not perfect. We're just human. But
that was Roddenberry's edit. That was Roddenberry's
I'm
doing.
saying, right, but that was a significant portion of time of what we had with Star Trek. You know, that was the formulative years.
It was,
you know, so it's only until recently, like, where they've begun to explore people who are not perfect, you know, and letting people be like, I mean, I'm using the word human for lack of a better word, even though we're talking about different alien races,
it's different
you know,
species,
but letting characters be more real and more vulnerable and not as all put together on the outside, you know,
and still being badass. I got all these issues, but I'm still a badass.
Yeah, you know, but I still can.
Coming back to my show that I know people don't love as much, but Archer was the other one that went through a whole lot, and they actually did talk about the fact that he said he lost something out there. He said, I've done things I never thought I would do. And he didn't have his, but I can live with it speech, but he had his I can live with it moment. You know, he had his I can live with this because he had done some stuff that was just not right. And he knew it. I told him that one show where he told that guy, if I have to kill you to get this done, I will kill you. I was like, oh, dag, Archer. And it wasn't, you know, it wasn't anything that he could do anything about. He was like, it's not, I'm not going to be right after this. I'm just not going to be right.
Yeah. So, you know, the final question for this show to wrap up this first 3-story arc that they gave us, you know, do you see any overarching themes that carried throughout this first 3? I mean, I did, you know, certainly, but I wonder what themes you guys saw carrying out through the first 3 stories.
I think we've already hit on it. You know, I think that everybody had something that they had retreated from. There was a herd, there was a whole missing, and they had to retreat. I think the whole over, and we haven't even really begun to explore John Luke's stuff. We know some more stuff in the future, but you know, I think it's that. I think they come together over hurt or lack or a pain that they suffer, a loss. Let's put it that way, a big loss that that's what I saw. But I did see, but I also saw, and it was in the last episode where, you know, they get together and he says engage. And for me, I just knew, I'm like, okay, they're the motley crew, but they're going to be all right. They're going to be all right. You know, I didn't know how they were going to be all right, but I thought they would be all right. And they had each other. So
I think the theme that I see that is going to go across all of these episodes is one of self-sacrifice. That sooner or later, at one point in the episodes, every one of them is willing to throw themselves under the bus in order to get the mission accomplished. You know, they're willing to. Raffi was burning every bridge to get. You know, she was pulling favors from everybody. She was like, "Oh my God!"
We're talking about these first 3 episodes,
right? But they're gonna do whatever it is they have to do. But they, you know, they're gonna get it done. They're gonna, like I said, what I was saying is that they're all at the point where they're gonna do this because they know that this hermit life they've been living just can't go on, and they're gonna go for this quest, even though they don't know what it is. That's what I see. They're gonna go for it, and they're gonna give it their all. Like you know, Rios, his EMT said, his emergency hologram said, this is a good man, and this you haven't worked for a man like this in a long time. You know, it was like this was somebody to follow. This was somebody to sacrifice for. This is somebody to go after. Raffi's going to do it too. Even Agnes is going to do it to some degree. She was totally swept off her feet by Picard, even though, you know, we know something else is happening in there. But it was very, very interesting how they were all going to shed that skin and become something different.
Yeah.
Time to grow up. Time to come out.
I think it's one of the themes that I saw was humiliation and humility. I saw that, really well evidenced through Picard's beginning part of Picard's journey. It was humiliating to him to go to Starfleet and not be recognized. It was humiliating to him to go there and be dressed down,
Yeah.
and told no. And that's the beginning of his journey into humility.
Even the interview was humiliating.
The interview was humiliating. Like he knows it. Like he's beginning to recognize that I'm not the big dog that I thought that I was.
Thought that I was.
That I've been nursing this ego this whole time.
Yeah, Soji asked him, she said, has there ever been a time when you felt you didn't know yourself? And he said, many times.
Mm-hmm. Many times. It's making him reflect, and then therefore, we start to see him approach differently. Like he did go to Rafi with as much humility as he could muster, and he tolerated and listened to that tirade of hers just because he knew he deserved it.
Yeah, he did.
Humility there. He didn't get up and be like, "Well, I'm here now," and react some, in a really negative way, or or try to make excuses, which would have been worse. He took it.
And that's why he hadn't come in 14 years. He wasn't looking forward to doing that. After year 1, he's like, well, if I go back there now, and then it was year 2 and 3 and 4, and he's like, okay, I can't call her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too late. I'm like, oh gosh, it's been so long, I can't do nothing.
Yeah, you've all done that. We've all done that when you like so far past
we have.
You can't call that person and you just let them go.
Yeah.
So that's what I think it was an incredible start to this new journey and this new way of storytelling in Star Trek, and these new characters and new settings. I mean, I was just absolutely amazed. I'm blown away.
Yes. I love the Borg cube. I love the way, they have that play of color and light again, like the lighting on the cube versus the lighting at the chateau versus the lighting on the La Serena, which is 3 different, you knew exactly where you were by the way the light was coming at you. It was just, at least I did, it was just like, okay, we're back on the ship. Oh, we're in the cube.
Yeah.
It was just amazing.
Fantastic.
Miss Culpepper, tipping my hat to you, sister.
That's right.
That's right.
She did that thing. That thing.
My girl did that thing. Yes, she did. Not once did we have to say in this episode, if that had been a sister.
I know.
We didn't have to call. I mean, we had some call outs, but we didn't have to say, if that had been a sister.
We got Raffi on the bridge.
We got Raffi. That's right. Keeping it in line. So this has been a really fantastic discussion. I want to thank you both for so much depth, and so much fun. Next week, y'all, we're going to, next episode, whenever we record that, next episode, we're going to do the middle part of the story. We're going to do 3 episodes, right, Subrina?
Yes.
That's right. So we're going to do episode 4, Absolute Candor, episode 5, Stardust City Rag, and episode 6, The Impossible Box. So we'll be discussing all of those. And I just want to say thank you all so much for listening. It means so much to us. Please join us on Facebook at our page, SyFy Sistas is SYFY, and Sistas is SISTAS, and join our group, The Mothership, and that's how we say it, MUTHASHIP, The Mothership.
Because you're like you're from Boston.
Oh God! Here she comes! Here she comes!
Oh.
See, that's just how them Boston people be.
That's how we roll.
Damn Yankees.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Don't you throw that word at me. Call a Boston girl a Yankee. Wow.
Subrina, how can people reach you?
You can reach me at Subrina at SyFysisters.com.
And Fran, how can people reach you?
You can reach me at Fran. You can reach me at Fran T at SyFysisters.com.
And I'm Tamia, and you can reach me at Tamia at SyFysisters.com. That's TAMIA. And we hope you do, or you can reach out to us on Facebook through our page, our group, and you can message us. And we also have the SyFy Sisters Black Science Fiction Reading Book Club. So join us in that group as well. And we are delighted. We look forward to talking with you guys next time.
Yay.
Yay. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Say goodbye, Fran.
Goodbye, Fran.
Live long and prosper, brothers and sisters.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.